We are so happy to see you, my comrade. What's your name, comrade?
Comrade, what's your name?
He doesn't want to say his name.
Okay, yeah, he's right. You are free. I think those are the freedom fighters who got, like in freedom fighting, you have different cadres. Others, yes, we talk. Others, they decide to remain silent, but practically when they are doing a great job. We want to appreciate whoever's demonstrated anywhere, whether in London, New York, South Africa, Uganda, Rotterdam. What you are doing is great because, as Bobi Wine said, that if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, row. If you can't do anything, everyone can do anything. Everyone can do something. Our comrades, we are so happy that you are there. Just know that the entire world is together with us.
But we're doing something about it, and we need your support. And we need the young people on our side. We shall support you too when you need us. Now Uganda is losing 15 young people every day. We are fast on the line. We need your support. Come on board.
Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of our comrades explaining to the Dutch people what exactly is going on. Because they keep on asking and they want to know what exactly is going on. So she was just doing that. I don't know if Dr. Rashid, you have any further questions for me?
No. I will come back to you in 20-30 minutes. Let me leave.
Okay, please.
Then I'll come back. Yeah, please keep on there. Those are our colleagues in Rotterdam. They are demonstrating. What they are doing, I can see the very beautiful picture. They are our struggle attires. They are doing great. These are like young men and young women from all over across the world. Or they could have been doing something else, but because they want freedom, that's why they are there outside on our behalf, on behalf of freedom, to see that Uganda can be liberated. Let's go to Dorcas. I don't know where she is. Dorcas, if you can unmute, please. Dorcas, can you hear me? Have some banners behind you killing Uganda elections. Dorcas, can you hear me? Dorcas, if you can unmute, please. Yes, hi, Dorcas.
Sorry, comrade. I thought it was another Dorcas within the audience. Yes,
No. I was speaking. Yes, Dorcas, where are you now? Are you also in Rotterdam now?
Right now, I'm in the UK. We actually started off at 2 p.m. UK time. I've been here since. I am in the UK and, of course, standing in solidarity with our comrades. And we are still demanding for our freedom. And today, we are actually telling the EU, UK, and the world that we need love, we need freedom. They should stop funding a dictator who is just having a brutal regime and killing our brothers and sisters in Uganda. So yes, I am here. doing business with the world. He's a businessman. So yes, stop funding the dictator. Two, we do not acknowledge Museveni as our president. So, and also, thirdly, actually, the most important one is the UK, EU, and the world. Most of the countries are democratic. They are democratic. Why are they funding somebody for the last 36 years? Where is the democracy? Are they saying that democracy is just for EU, US, and only a chosen few countries? So we demand that they should stop the hypocrisy. We need the democracy to reign in Uganda. We need our human rights. Our rights have to be reinstilled. You know, the EU have got a privilege. The youth just able to move freely, and we can't. We are tied up. You know, people are locked up, beaten, raped, tortured, murdered. Every single day, every minute, someone is dying. People's nails are plucked out, the teeth plucked out. We're suffering. So this amount of suffering has to stop. They have to stop funding a dictator, a murderer. So they're committing crime. They have to stop. And minerals can be received from Uganda legitimately. Business can be done legitimately. Okay? Thank you, comrade. I have so much to say. I think I'm even beginning to get angry.
I think you've made really very, very important points. Actually, in Uganda, some of you I'm sure that all of you know that. I think we have we have got a lot of our comrades who have been murdered. It's now a crime not to support the government. Can someone really convince me why Eddie Mutwe was in prison? Can someone give me any smallest reason why Nubiani was in prison? There's no genuine reason. Because they supported Bobby Wine, and then you put such young people, they have never committed any crime. The only crime they committed is just to show their love for their candidate. Now this guy has put them behind the bars for month and month. They have got kids, they have got wives, they have got families. But this guy is so brutal. But one day he's going to pay for everything which is doing now. One day he has got to pay for the atrocities causing to our fellow Ugandans. But now, if you want to say anything, please put up your hand. Michael. Yes,
Mr. I think we have a guest speaker for this hour.
Okay.
For time, I think, was it Agnes Kaziba?
Okay, let me see if the guest speaker.
I think she's allocated 20 minutes to say something.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, yes, I think I've seen her. Yes, Honorable Agnes Kaziba, we are so glad I can see a very, very smart lady somewhere there. I don't know which country she's in, but all what I can say that she looks to be a supporter of freedom, fairness, good governance, and I think she's sharing her support. She's supportive of having a new Uganda which is full of freedom, full of democracy. Honorable Agnes Kaziba, would you like to introduce, maybe if I haven't introduced you properly?
Maybe for protocol, I should introduce her a bit. She's our legal leader in the diaspora. She's she can say more about herself, but she's done a lot to help our people back home in legal matters and so on. She's the person we run to for any legal matters. She's a qualified lawyer, so she knows what she's doing. Agnes Kaziba, the floor is yours.
Yes, my land friend, we are more than happy to receive you today, and thank you so much. You are such a very, very young person, but if you've dedicated some of your services to provide pro bono services to people who want freedom, we don't have words really convincing enough to express how thankful we are to whatever you are doing. But you have the microphone. Please feel free to share whatever you want to share to the world. We are listening.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, though I wish it was under different circumstances. But if we have to be here, this is the right, if we have to be speaking about freedom, this is the right place to do it. Just as introduced, Amanda Tony. I'm based in the United States. I know, Rashid, what you were asking where I'm based. I'm based in the US. I've been doing a lot of work legally, just coordinating with the team in Uganda, trying to get our comrades out of prisons and try to push other measures of freedom through the very frustrating Ugandan court systems. But we do the best we can. As for the international community, I've been trying to reach out, with other members, of course, of the team, trying to get our international partners to teach Museveni and his brutal rule, and to support the people of Uganda and NUP in general. I see requests, so I'm still trying to figure out if I need to go in a waiting room or maybe not. I see requests coming in. But yeah, so just to continue, I'm pleased to be here. I wanted to share that the elections were rigged, and there was a false swearing in by the Museveni government. But just to say to everyone, our work is not over. This is just a beginning. There is a lot of work that has to be done. We have continued, personally, I've continued to lobby and speak with international partners, both in the US and in Europe, to try and get our government in power. We did win the election, so at least we have the mandate of the Ugandan people. And right now, all we need to do is to put other pieces in place to make sure that we get into government. On the other hand, I wanted to just, say to Mr. Museveni, he might have sworn in thinking that he's going to be in power for another 5 years, but it's definitely not going to happen. We are working day and night to make sure that, he's out of power before even the end of this year. And we can guarantee him that, he has killed and rigged and done every simple despicable thing to keep power and to cling on to power as the despot he is, but that does not guarantee him longevity in power. So we're definitely working hard to make sure he exits before the end of his term. He won't see it coming. He won't know how it comes, but he should be in for surprises, because surprises are coming his way. I thank everyone who's here doing the work that you're doing. And just to say, everyone should continue to do your work. We are all doing different work. We are all capable of different things. And so when each of us does their part, that's when we move forward. If anyone lags behind or fails to do their part, it doesn't matter how much the other person does, we definitely will not be able to get where we want to go. So I want to thank every single person on this call, every person at home who's tweeting, every person who's making calls to their representatives. I cannot do it all, but I know that, once I'm doing my part and each of you are doing your part, then we're moving forward. I thank people in Uganda who have been very resilient, and, encourage them to keep going. There are a lot of people in Uganda who have fought hard in under different circumstances than we are in the diaspora. Whereas we can confidently sit here and talk, and we can tweet and chat about politics in Uganda, it's almost taboo. But there are people who are still doing so under those circumstances. So we really need to encourage them and thank them, and tell them that we stand with them. So we all have to stand together. I definitely thank all the other people in the Netherlands, the other Africans and Dutch people that I saw supporting our cause. That that is just it's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. And so we need to encourage everyone to be part of this conversation and to be part of this fight, because again, it's only when we come together and fight together that we're going to get where we're going. So definitely we need to recruit other, for everyone here, we need to, take up the example of the Netherlands and recruit other Africans, other people in the world to support our cause and to be part of this conversation. As per the leaders of the world, the free world especially, when there is a lot of hypocrisy as what is going on in Uganda and in Africa in general, where we are told that, whereas there is democracy, whereas there is human rights respected, those values are uplifted and upheld very highly in the Western world, that Ugandans do not deserve the same values, and that, that is hypocrisy, and that shouldn't be happening. So we ask all the leaders who claim to be supporters of freedom and human rights and democracy to stand with Ugandans as Ugandans fight to get the same values and to get the same kind of freedoms that have been spread around the world and claimed to be important by our Western partners. Definitely glad and thankful for all the partners who have come on board. I have met with several members of parliament in the European Union who have worked hard to push our agenda forward. The members of parliament who are still working forward, working to move us forward. The US Department of State and other different congressmen and women who have come on board and listen to our voices and try every day to amplify them. Definitely thankful to those. But there is a lot to do, and I call upon the rest of the European governments, European members of parliament, and the US government in general, and other governments around the world to stand with us. This is not a matter that concerns only Ugandans, but it's a matter of the world and where we want the world to go. If we want the world to be peaceful and have free trade and democracy, then that is a path we could choose. Or we could let Uganda sink into the hole where China is dragging us. China in collaboration with Museveni, where they're dragging Uganda into corruption and abuse of human rights. There are two paths here, and it's up to us as humanity to pick which path we want to take. So for those who stand for freedom, I think we need, I believe that we need to combine forces and move the world where we want it to go. Otherwise, we risk having the world become China. Another thing, really, and I think this will be my last point, is that we need to get the Africans. I think that Uganda is still under captivity on Museveni because the Africans have thrown in a towel and chosen not to be part of this. And by Africans, I mean the African leaders. And so we need to call them out. For people in the diaspora who live in the different countries on the continent, I call upon you to protest where protests are allowed, and to call upon and to call out those leaders. Africa has, it's a vast continent with a lot of leadership, with a lot of capacity and capabilities, and people, and everyone has turned away to leave us to struggle and scramble on our own. And yet this is an issue that should concern all Africans. So African leaders, definitely the African Union needs to be called out. And so I call upon Ugandans who live close enough to to Ethiopia and where the African Union offices are, or wherever else they are, to go and protest in front of them and to call the leaders out, those who can reach them. I have personally tried to do the same thing, but the more of us do this, the better. We need to tag them every time we tweet, for the group that tweets. We need to tag them and call them out for their, because when they're silent, they are working with Museveni, and definitely we know they're working with Museveni, but we need to call them out for doing so. And yeah, so we need to have everyone on board. We need to pull. I think I think the most disappointing thing, during this struggle for me has been the silence of the African leaders, and their failure to fight alongside Africans. Even when they guarantee that under the African Union Charter that where they fight for human rights and that they believe in democracy and all that, it's all trash. And I feel that they've showed that very clearly here. Just as they did in when the Rwandan genocide was going on, they've kept going on and turning a deaf ear when people on the continent are being massacred. Museveni is massacring everyone, regardless of tribe, regardless of gender, regardless of age. He has imprisoned children too. I have had to work with the legal team in Uganda to get 15-year-olds out of jail. So he just will non-stop at anything. He keeps going, and to keep himself in power, he will do anything. And so it's just sad that when children, women and young men are being imprisoned and incarcerated unfairly, and when they're being killed, that the African Union and the rest of the African leaders seem to just turn away and let it happen. So I call upon everyone here again. Thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being wherever you are and doing the work you're doing to move Uganda forward. And call upon you to drag in everyone. Anybody you can drag in. I really am grateful to this conversation and this Zoom to be able to witness what is happening in the Netherlands. And I think we should definitely do our best to imitate the same thing by dragging in as many people into this conversation as we can.
Thank you so much, Council Agnes, for that wonderful, wonderful insight. Maybe what are the ordinary people asking in terms of legal redress or any possibility of litigation? We know that Uganda is a party to many of these legal or human rights conventions, like on the regional level, African level, on the international level. And we know that Mr. Museveni never won the elections. We know, we have got evidence of atrocities is done. Now what people are asking, what other, in terms of legal remedies, what options do we have? Can't we sue him anywhere? Can we start a litigation anywhere? What are the possibilities or the chances? Or everything is made impossible because of the so-called diplomatic immunity. So an ordinary man who's struggling for the freedom, maybe will be glad to hear from you in terms of the legal redress. Do we stand any chance anywhere?
Thank you. Yes and no, and I think that's the answer every lawyer gives. So I have personally filed. I filed a petition or complaint with the International Human Rights Commission. In fact, I filed two. One in collaboration with another attorney in Nigeria, and then one on my own. Putting in all the atrocities, the rigging of elections and everything. And that report is actually a public report, and I can share it if anyone wants to take a look at it. But I've filed that with the International Human Rights Commission. And what that would do is, would at least trigger an investigation into the atrocities that are happening in Uganda. But that doesn't really answer all our questions in terms of, definitely it doesn't take Museveni out of power as we want, which is our ultimate goal. That definitely does address some of the issues which we are facing, but it depends on how the commission, how well the commission will do their work. Whereas we do file petitions like that and complaints like that, it depends on whether the commission is not corrupt and whether they're willing to put their the different personal and personal and individual country benefits, because we need to look at the commission as a group of countries, and those countries, it's not these are not people from Mars, so these people belong to countries, and those countries have interests. So whether the commission, the people sitting on the commission are willing to put away their individual interests to address the human rights abuses going on in Uganda is what is left to be seen. You know, they're supposed to investigate these crimes, and they're supposed to have the perpetrators be held accountable. So far, we haven't seen that happen. There has also been another petition filed with the ICC, and I think most of you here know. And you know, we are currently in currently in the process of filing another petition with the World Bank. I'm working with a group of people on that. And so again, these things do, these are like blocks. That's what I said. Everyone needs to do their part. These are blocks that may, you know, bring some results, but not the ultimate goal. So these things, you know, that legally elsewhere, you know, ICC, Human Rights Commission, World Bank, you know, elsewhere where we file, these things do bring us some relief, but they will not get rid of Museveni. We Ugandans need to do everything we can, and we are doing some of it here. We need to do more than just, you know, the legal. Legal doesn't answer everything. We definitely know he rigged the elections, and we tried to seek redress in the Ugandan courts and failed. So, you know, now it's up to us to do other things, and which we are working on. I know a lot of different people here have different initiatives they are leading and they're taking part into, and all those initiatives combined together is how we are going to get rid of Museveni. Unfortunately, there is no clear answer. As per legal, I think you know, the average person, as you said, would want me to say, you know, this is, you know, it's A plus B equals C, but it's not how it's going to happen. It's going to take a lot of moving pieces. You know, we just have to look at it as this is a house we are building, and everyone has to put a brick for the house to stand.
Oh, thank you so much, Agnes, for your wonderful talk. Thank you indeed, and thank you for your great services you are doing for our country, Uganda, and for the people of the world. Thank you so much for being an exemplary citizen of the world, because I think I wish to appeal to everyone, whether you are a mechanic, architect, whatever profession you have. Even if you don't have a profession, there's always a role you can you have to play in your country, Uganda. So as she said, that whatever you do, whether you're a photographer or anywhere you are, let us involve as many people as we wish in this struggle. Thank you so much, Agnes. Unless we'll have some questions later, but let us see if Nelson Sewada, did you want to say something?
Thank you very much, Dr. Kasato. And the colleagues at large. I just wanted to spice the demo with a lyrics. As you know, Where are
you, Serwanda? Are you at Rotterdam now? In Rotterdam now?
No, I'm in German. But since our colleagues are demonstrating and they are showing what is happening with the artists like Nubian Lee and Dan Magic, I'm one of the artists, so I want to spice.
Okay, but we can't see you. Switch. We want to see you because we can't see your video. If you are able to start it. Okay. Yes, you have the microphone.
Can you see me now?
We can see a gentleman like in attire, Ugandan flag attire, with a very smartly dressed.
Yeah, people power.
Power.
So, there we go. Yeah, Nevinere, an activist, and the music. kuno mulanga gwenkubye gwe matuka amatugo tukubidde gwe naawe bwekyali ayagala ensiyo eno Uganda yaffe mwana agulawo obwongo sentamu akugamba zuukuka time for struggle bannayuganda bangi mbalaba nnyo nga bakaaba olw'omusolo omungi gwe lwaliwo ne bagala emmamba embeera gye tulimu Sseruganda yongerinyiza it's time to join hands and fight the impunity to regain our power. People power, our power. Join the struggle, yeah, yeah. Tuli mulutalo. To regain our power. People power, our power. Join the struggle, yeah, yeah. Sa! Kizibu nnyo okufuna obwenkanya mu ggwanga lino okuggyako nga wootudde olimu eggwanga baalivaako dda.
Thank you so much. I think Afro-Barrier, this is I think Aligo is losing a job here because someone also from I don't know if he's here, but thank you so much, my colleague. I think he's lost the connection. Agnes, I think
our power.
Yes, I think you called me, Rashid.
Oh yes, I think people like Nelson, don't you think they are doing a great job, like in this struggle, like you're trying to energize? When you talk,
Yes.
when you say that everyone should be involved, do you think people like Nelson have got something positively at the struggle?
Yes, definitely, and that's exactly what we mean by everyone doing their parts. You know, I definitely can't do what he does, but you know, through your work, Nelson, you're able to speak to people that I can't reach, because music transcends boundaries and borders. So music goes a long way to communicate the things that we do want to pass around. You know, I think that most of us wouldn't know our president if it wasn't for his music. We were able to listen to his music and learn a lot of things about our country and about you know, things that we could do. I think many of us here grew up listening to his music. So definitely all musicians and definitely Nelson, and that was a great song. And you know, keep singing and keep spreading the message. You know, the good thing about music is that you can choose about what to sing. You can choose what to sing about. And for people like you who choose to sing about the matters that affect our people and affect Ugandans, that is a choice, and that's a deliberate choice. That is great. And so I thank you. And yes, keep singing and keep sending your music around, definitely.
Sarada, thank you so much for I think for the great work you've done. Really, I think people like you, you are so creative. I think what you've done is so great. Maybe one time we'll have the demo
Dr. Kasato and the rest, and the Dr. Agnes. And thank you, Lily. We need to push up in all corners of the world, and we need to push up the struggle in different categories. Thank you very much.
I think the people who organized the Eurovision, if the Nelson went there, I'm sure he could be one of the contenders. I could see he's talented, but maybe they got scared. That's why they left him out. But anyway, thank you so much. I think we have just one other hand up. I know my other colleague is coming to take over. Kalunji, if you could just tell us what's your question or what do you want to add on. Kalunji, if you can please unmute. Kalunji. Sometimes you'll bear with us. I think I can see Kalunji's hand. You'll tell me when our time is gone. But there is someone was asking, Michael, someone was asking, I think you were telling them they can't contact you. Michael, briefly, can you tell us briefly about yourself, maybe what you do in terms of our struggle? Because someone was asking, Michael is asking us if we need any kind of assistance. Are you a senator, or you just one of our citizens of the world who love to support Uganda? Someone was asking me, I didn't have you. Could you briefly, like in a minute, tell us which country are you and what prompted you to join us?
Okay. Thank you for having me speak here. I've been joining the room here for several months now. I just consider myself a global citizen. My connection to Uganda started back in 1998 when I traveled to Uganda for the first time. And I've been back to Uganda many, many times over the years. And over that time, I've just made many friends and many walks of life. I'm particularly connected to the creative community, to musicians, to artists, because of how they communicate and how they reach people. Their talents and their creativity allow them to speak important issues to the people. Even, we see what Bobby Wine is doing now. He's taken his talents from the musical world into governance, but he's able to communicate to people through music. So those type of Ugandans are the ones that I enjoy working with and spending time with and partnering and collaborating with. So it's just developed over the years. So my presence here is just to support my friends, mainly as an encouragement. I don't want people to think that I'm interfering with Ugandan issues. That's not my role. What happens in Uganda is up to Ugandans, how you move forward. What I can do as an American citizen is hold my government accountable and play a role in what my government is doing as far as their foreign policy, who they are supporting financially and militarily. So that's where I've stepped in and I've said, I think it's wrong as an American citizen who pays taxes that my tax money is being funneled to a dictatorship where that money is being used to kill and maim and slaughter innocent Ugandan citizens for no reason other than they have differing opinions of those in power. That's all.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. And I am sure that other Americans will be following your footsteps because, as you know, that the world is a global village, and a threat to democracy anywhere, like in Uganda, can be a threat to democracy somewhere. Is a threat to democracy everywhere. But thank you so much. We are so happy whenever we see people like you, even if you're not Ugandan by nationality, but because you have that passion to see that really freedom should not be to the Western country, and then you decide to join us. We are so grateful, and anything you can do, any information you want, I'm sure you know all our contacts. But thank you so much for really coming and then giving us support and those words of encouragement. Thank you indeed. Guys, I think we have colleagues, as Agnes said, that all over the world. We have friends in the countries where we live. It's our duty just to share with them what's happening in Uganda, because this is going to be concerted effort by everyone to play their role, because you never know. But we don't have an option of, we don't have any option of going back. We moved because we know that we have already lost a number of friends. So many people have died, really. They have died, they have been part of the struggle. Yes, and so many. Actually, the number of people we don't know is very big. Really, we will have done injustice to them if we decided to give up. So giving up is not an option. Like struggling for freedom is a civilization element. Because we are civilized, we just need to keep on going. If you are anywhere, I want you to come over. But I think there's just one hand over there. I think someone wasn't spoken.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kasato, for the job well done, always coming up to help. We always appreciate your efforts. And of course, and you're always, you had a lot of things to do today, and you decided to give us the time, to give the struggle the time. Thank you so much. We appreciate so much. as we enter our next session, you have so many good speakers coming up. You have Dr. Lina coming in. We have many people who are going to, give us their views and guide us through this. But of course, we need to hear from everyone. We give everyone a chance. The next session was supposed to be, I think, moderated by Grace Chiboneka, who's not yet in. So I'll spring in for the time being till she comes in. So I don't need to introduce myself. I know everyone knows my big nose. I'm in Uganda with a nose to prove it. I'm called Ronald Luzinda Mutebi.
Honorable Grace Chiboneka is in the house.
She's in?
Yeah.
Yes, Grace, can you please make, I've searched for her in vain. Grace? Ah, she's there. Yes, Grace, can you please unmute yourself? Let me first make her a co-host. Then she can take over this session. So in this session, we have some guest speakers. Like I said, we have, is Grace in? Grace?
Sorry.
Yeah, so we have Dr. Lina and then and Mr. Nelson Dudley. I hope I spoke that name right. Hello? Grace, please unmute yourself. Okay. So I was introducing myself, but as long as it's not my turn, I will just give over to, there's a hand up. Mr. HWDW, please unmute yourself and give us your opinion. Just have 5 minutes.
Hello to everyone.
Yes, hello. Just give us your name, where you're calling from, and
my name is Machete. I'm calling from UAE. My suggestion is that we need to identify key factors in Operation Ugandans. So those key factors, if we can access them, they need to be put down. I think you get me. Because any flat has pillars. So if you remove one pillar, that means that you are weakening it. Anytime it will go down. The main man, we may not be having, we may not be in position to access him, but others, I think, they can be accessed. So, main focus on the key factors. How can we reach them? To put the man down, because these are the planners.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Did you have any suggestion you could put across to us? Like, I mean, we can brainstorm this. You have 2 minutes of your time.
Actually, you have to strategize on how to reach those key factors, like roots which are holding the tree to be upright. So, what are those roots? Those roots have to be uprooted. Those are the key factors I'm talking about.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to our next moderator, Grace. Welcome. And then you introduce Dr. Lina Striga, and then we can continue from there. Welcome, Grace. You can take over.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Afrobalina, for this organizing this wonderful event and for having me participate. Okay, I need you to go be with your sister now because I'm talking. So now I have my 4-year-old still needing attention, but we can go on. So I am Grace Chiboneka. I'm a resident in Washington State, and I'm honored to be part of this this event. And thank you so much, you all who have been on all along. I just joined and I was having trouble making my connection. So I think now I'm set, I guess, yeah. And right now, I think I would like to invite Dr. Lina Azidriga, and then I'll check in with co-moderators, Mr. Forbalina. I need to be kind of oriented to the flow of this hour, but I'll be hosting and facilitating this next hour. So thank you so much for having us. Dr. Lina Zedriga, you're welcome to address us. We really appreciate your persistence and perseverance and leadership in this new Uganda that we are all pursuing, and we welcome you to address the audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much, the organizers of this event. And also thank you so much, all the Ugandans out there that for the very first time in my 60 or so years, I saw Ugandans standing together, standing with energy, standing to say Uganda belongs to all of us and we need to be here by choice. Indeed, we demonstrated that in practice during the time of the nomination for our president, November 3rd, throughout the campaigns, which were more battle-front, military battle operation than civic political campaigns. Thank you. We lost a number of people. Many are still incarcerated, not because they committed any crime, but because they stood up for the truth and because they stood up to have a new Uganda. The likes of Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutue, and also very many up north, western, eastern. Today, we are here to say we are not going to lose that hope. We are not. We are not going to lose hope. We are going to continue to persist to reclaim our stolen victory. Northern Uganda, we are bleeding because you saw the trails, the campaign trails, all the crowds, Koboko, Arua, Yumbe, Gulu, Kitgum, Karamoja. But what did Museveni choose to do? Use military to make sure our rightful vote reflected on the ballot were not to see the light of day. Young men like Gerald Oyeki, the commissioner, NUP, Electoral Commission, Northern Uganda is a missing person up to now with our results because he was intercepted between Gulu and Kampala. But the truth is, we won the elections. The truth is, NUP was overwhelmingly voted. And we're going to make sure our victory is delivered to us. And that's why, much as I traveled the whole of last night and half of today, I've just arrived in another location. The lawyers, Pan-African Lawyers Union and the Center for Strategic Litigation, with some NUP members and also other aggrieved people from Tanzania, we have been for a 4 days retreat where we have taken to the East African Court of Justice, the Attorney General of Uganda, and also the Secretary General of the East African Community for aiding and abetting our victory to be robbed, our people to be brutalized, and they are quiet. No, we are not going to allow them to be quiet because under their responsibilities and duties, they should have prevented, they should have protected us, and at least they should have attempted to investigate this blatant robbery. I do not want to lament and stay in lamentation. I would like to go straight to speak on convincing, not even convincing, holding the world accountable to their quietness, especially Europe, America, and what we call the first world. Why are they silent? And then they are congratulating Museveni. Others we have had an opportunity to speak with say, no, for us actually want to leave Ugandan issues to Ugandans. They are not neutral. They are not. They're on the side of the dictator. So we will hold them also as part of the dictators. Today, my messaging, having experienced these people's double standards. Recently, I was in Germany. We held high-level, low-level meetings in Berlin and Munich. Some of the lead organizations say, you know, we have questions around the so-called victory of Museveni, but we cannot rock the status quo because we have many interests in the country, in Uganda. We do not want them to be deported. Others were very honest, but others were starting by saying, no, Museveni won by 58%. You people, I think now you need to see how you can work together. That narrative we are not going to accept because it is a very blatant, continued robbery of our victory. We are not going to accept that narrative. For me, I know, and in practice. So today I am saying the so-called swearing in is the highest level of the manifestation of robbery, rape of Uganda's, our dignity, our identity, our victory. And we're not going to allow it to continue. No. We are calling upon these partners in the global community. On that note, I want to thank people like Michael. I want to thank even my own team who are trying to make sure we document these realities. Conrad and Edward, who are trying to make sure that in solidarity, the truth is delivered to Ugandans, with Ugandans, and by Ugandans. That one, this hypocrisy of the Western world, of the people, not even all of them, by the way, many of them are with us. Many of them really want to see a democratic, vibrant, one village, global village. Especially their leaderships. Those who have gone to craft, those who have decided to work on issues of money, positions, and other opportunistic promises, and therefore they are hiding themselves from the truth, is that one, Ugandans are watching, and we have said utterly no to this hypocrisy. Stop it. Stop it and start by associating with us who are seeking to reclaim in practice our victory. Yes, the brutality was very blanket. We women, the children, today specifically we are focusing on musicians. We also had the journalists battered. Today is a day we should have been celebrating. But now we are using this opportunity rightfully to tell the world out there in practice the swearing in was a hoax, it was null, void, ab initio. We are putting that in action. So we want to tell the world, stand with us to reclaim the truth, because it is now a regional phenomenon. It's not only Uganda. Quite a number of countries in Africa, these leaderships are taking issues of human rights, issues of governance, good governance, issues of accountability for granted. So what script are we writing for the next generation? That impunity is okay. It is okay for Africa, then it is not okay for Europe or for America. This double standard must stop. Taxpayers in Europe, in Germany, in Netherlands, in America know that the so-called development aid that is used in Uganda for buying vehicles for the police, for the military, and the unsolicited, spending is the root that is grounding the continuous abuse of human rights. I was arrested myself by men, military men, who are funded by your money. Military men. thrown on a vehicle that your money buys, and taken to a police station, imprisoned with men, the police that you fund, especially from Netherlands, by the way. There's this funding that goes for peace, recovery, and development plan. Excuse me, I'm speaking with the emotions, because that is my truth. Because I'm seeing this from a perspective and experience of an African woman, of a mother, of a life giver, that the lives I am giving are being destroyed deliberately, planned, systemically, and it must end. It must stop. Yes, today we are supposed to be celebrating the Music Day, when Nubian Lee, who has never handled a gun, is being tried with others in a military court martial. I am one of the sureties, where we go to be mocked by the military, that your citizens fund. The military court martial mocks us. We would like to call upon the world all over. Stop the funding. Stop it. We don't need that money, because it is the money that is oppressing us, used for oppressing us. Stop it. 2, preside over Museveni, his son, his brother, his wife, his in-laws, his relatives, to ensure that our sons, our husbands, our daughters who are being held in prison innocently are released unconditionally and immediately. We also want to call upon to investigate and audit, or support us in doing so, this fraudulent victory that was declared that he won by 58%. He did not win anything. He wasn't voted in anywhere. He wasn't. So we need an audit. We need an accountability. And under the responsibility to protect the global community in all your institutions, please. It's a demand, not a request from Ugandans, that you are failing us in your duty of care. It's not something you're giving to Ugandans as a favor, no. It's a right and it's a duty. So we are calling on you to execute that duty of care in practice. Because history is going to judge you. We are bleeding. Ugandans are bleeding. We want to see this bleeding stops immediately. We do not always want to go in the books of history. You know, this happened in Rwanda. No, let us prevent the next wave of brutality from today. Let us stand to prevent the next wave of brutality. We demand it by 1, stopping to fund. 2, stopping to associate with this junta. Stop it. Because you are now giving him a comfort zone, a false comfort zone, by the way. Because the power of the population is more powerful than the guns. Then finally, I want to speak about the artists in Uganda. There's a law that was militarily implemented. Selectively, some artists like Baby Cool were allowed to have their shows because they knew that was about livelihood. They stopped all artists unless they would be cleared by military, by the way. I don't know whether Council Kaziba, you knew that. And Bobby Wine was particularly targeted. Militarization of the space of art and creation. Yeah? That's how far we have gone. How we have degenerated as a country. So we need to make sure we sanitize and civilize political space and governance immediately. Artists should be allowed and creative performers should be allowed to continue to perform. We also would like the women, the children who are being brutalized, abducted, traumatized. You have your husband or your son is in this place, then the woman, these women, many of them confide in me. They extort money from them. Others, the military are using sex, our bodies. We have no dignity left now because the junta, his systems that are so militarized are now about dehumanizing humanity. Women are called, your son is in this place. However, we need you to deposit 1 million or 5 million or whatever. These are confessions. Then before they know it, they are being, sexually harassed, raped. Not only those who are arrested, those whose children are in jail. Those are the horrific experiences we are going. We have nothing left in terms of human dignity. So this person called Museveni and his henchmen must go. They must go. Anybody who associates with him by funding him, by doing any business or whatever transaction, there were at some conversation, somebody was saying, there's the justice, law and order sector. I said, there's no justice, there's no law, and there's no order in Uganda, except military. So for me, I speak with a lot of evidence and also a lot of emotion, and because that is the only language also they understand. So together I call on everybody, let's not stop. Netherlands, from there, handle the baton. Hand the baton over so that this does not only happen as an event, it must continue until our ultimate objective of reclaiming and celebrating our victory and dignity as Ugandans, reclaiming our identity, is achieved. And we can only do that if we continue to put the pressure sustainably, not just as an event. And I want to thank each one of you. I'm available for any other further conversations, because today actually we should not have been only speaking, we should have been walking the talk together and celebrating ourselves in our victory. But I thank you for this opportunity. It has given us hope. And I call on each one of us also to continue to participate and follow other spaces. Kaziba, I'm going to be following up on your petition, and also call on all of you to follow us, to follow up on our petition, which is in the East African Court of Justice, and even that one of the ICC. It continues to give them some discomfort, because right now they're in a false comfort. So whatever we do that can make them uncomfortable and they continue to press their panic buttons, let us do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor, for such a wonderful presentation to us. You are the face of the struggle. You energize us, you inspire us with your words, with your actions. And thank you for putting some of our thoughts and feelings into words. That's really, really, really part of why we are rejuvenated when we hear from you. I just wanted to point out two things that you mentioned that I really reverberated in my mind. The fact that you stated that when we are talking with these foreign governments, we are actually not asking them for a favor, because we see them as partners in crime. So in fact, they are enabling, they are supporting, and they are being complacent. So we are really trying to raise the awareness of the population in those countries, as well as hold the governments to account. We cannot stand to have a dictator that's miming killing our young population by the droves, when people in leadership in foreign Western countries just going on with business as usual, as though the lives of Ugandans don't matter. So thank you for putting that clearly in our minds, in our heads, in our language. We are not asking for favors here. It's not a favor. Take care of your mess. That's what we are saying. Then the other one is, you said that when we do these things, and for all of us, we should not take them as an event on Saturday this time, but really be strategic and understanding of the consistency and pressure and application of every step we take, it's worthwhile, because that keeps the other side on their toes. It keeps our message loud and clear. It keeps it out front. So thank you for also helping us to understand and giving this activity context. Yes, I see your hand. I think you want to say something.
Something I left out. I got too emotional over this thing. There's money. These taxpayers are giving to Uganda in the terms of aid is being used to buy. It's being used to buy some of the people who have no conscience. For example, I was offered 5 billion. 5 billion, that's 2 million US dollars, to abandon Noop and then join the thieves and the robbers and the murderers, okay? 5 billion. Your money is being used to buy, okay? It is being used to buy away the supporters. Then, the deputy speaker of the last parliament, Olanya, comes out to boast that, you know, I brutalized northern Uganda so much, Noop did not to see the daylight in terms of their votes. So I need to be awarded, I need to be paid by being made the Speaker of Parliament. So your money is being used so wrongfully in all ways, And then I end by also pointing out the brother of Museveni, Salim Saleh, is camped in northern Uganda. There's a very fake there's a very fake project he's doing. Is it for communities or population wealth creation? That money is being used to buy, to brutalize, to grab land, to continue with their criminality. It is funding the criminality. Thank you. I thought I should not miss that out.
Again, you're giving us the right words to describe what's going on. That is a clear manifestation of the corruption and the extent to which our country has degenerated. No wonder we have a population of youth that are not employed, and they are, you know, subjected to levels of hopelessness because of the extent massive misuse of the resources, be it natural resources in the country, be it loans, and yet we are expected to all share in the somewhat greediness and mismanagement of those resources by a few. So thank you for giving us those key connecting aspects. I think it's important for all of us to understand every little step we participate in is not a waste. And based on the language, the words that Dr. Lina has given us, I think we can see how all of that connects. So I wanted to ask you a question, perhaps. You lightly mentioned that when you're in the corridors of power in the Western, with Western partners, obviously some of them, they like to be kind of sympathetic, but you said this time we are not asking them for favors. We have to put them on, like really expose them. And then others tell you, oh, maybe, you know, Museveni won, now this is a time for you to figure out how you can work with him. How do you navigate that kind of discussion? Like, how do you address that? Like, why wouldn't it be a good idea for NUP as a party, or any opposition leader party for that matter, to work with Museveni at this point? Would you elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you so much for that brilliant question. Why would NUP not want to work with Museveni? By the way, it's not about NUP not wanting to work with Museveni or working with Museveni. It's about the Ugandans. It's about Museveni's modus operandi. NUP, as a political party, believes in strong institutions. Museveni's government and modus operandi is all about him. whether it's commissioning a borehole, whether it's, so these are two different things. For us, we're about very strong institutions, we're about accountability, we're about inclusion, we're about respect for human rights. So if Museveni can, because if he can, which you know, he may not or he will not, adhere and submit to the modus operandi that NUP is advancing, constitutionalism, rule of law, strong institutions, very strong education systems, transparency, accountability, zero tolerance for corruption, we have no problem working with anybody. We do not. But will he submit and respect our way of operation? The answer is yours. So to the powers that be in terms of our partners, another issue that they bring, which speaks to this reality of divide and rule, it is NUP and then it is the other, you know, is about peace and security in the region. How will NUP, a very young political party, you know, they're looking at NUP as an individual or a few individuals. They are not seeing people like you, the global phenomena, the grassroots support. And that's why Museveni and his team are doing whatever it takes in the media to put a propaganda that NUP is only for the central and Bayai. NUP is not supported by the grassroots people. So we need to deconstruct that narrative. We need to, because the promises of NUP are an aspiration of the people of Uganda, peace-loving people. So we are telling them, or I'm told them, and I would like you also to, we craft that and deliver this message that NUP is about strong institutions. NUP is about reclaiming the identities, the participation.